Hey guys, it's Michael from Fire and Brilliance, and today we'll be talking about something completely different than what you're used to. I know in the past, if you've been following the channel, we've been comparing a lot of round-shaped stones. Today, we'll be talking about one shape and two cuts, which is the princess cut and the square cut, both moissanite, and I'm going to get right into it for you. Alright guys, so today again we will be talking about two stones, alright, which is the Square Forever One Colorless Moissanite by Charles and Colvard, and we'll be comparing it based on a few specs that I want you to kind of take a look at against the new Princess Cut Forever One Colorless Moissanite by Charles and Colvard, both a D, E, and F color. Now a lot of people are confused typically in terms of what's the difference between a square cut and a princess cut, since they both kind of look relatively the same. If we are referring to just the Charles and Colvard Forever One Moissanite, the square cut as of right now it only goes up to a 6.5 millimeter. The princess cut will go up to, I believe, an 8 millimeter. All right, so the princess cut is currently available at a larger carat size as well as a millimeter size. But in terms of the overall features, the similarity in terms of why people may be confused a lot of times is because of the fact that they're both square. Okay, but there is a huge difference in the moissanite in terms of the way it looks and the way it sparkles and the way you want it to look. So therefore there's a choice. Okay, the square, if you take a look, this is actually the square and that is the princess cut. The square, the way it's faceted, is different than that of the princess cut. The table facet, which is basically the largest facet of every single gemstone, okay, which is the top facet, the flat part of a gemstone. The table facet of a square is on the opposite direction of the actual shape of the square. So if you take a look here, this square, it goes that way, whereas the table facet is more like a diamond, so it's in the opposite direction of the square. In other words, the table facet, it meets towards the center of each side of the square cut, whereas the princess cut, if you take a look here, it is parallel to the actual shape of the stone. So it's all parallel. So the table facet of a princess is in line with the sides, whereas again the square cut will meet towards the sides. It's more of a diamond shape, so it's in the opposite direction of this overall square. So that's the main feature and the differences between the square cut and the princess cut. The second point that I want to bring up is if you take a look at the square, although both shapes definitely meet at a point at the bottom of the stone, which is basically the pavilion, right? Well, the pavilion is the bottom part of the stone under the girdle, and although it meets at a center point or the culet, the difference is this. If you take a look at it from the top down, you will notice that on the square cut, it looks as if that is much more apparent. So in other words, if you see there, it looks more like an X, and you'll definitely see the point. Whereas the princess cut, it's also cut very similar to that, but because of the way it's faceted on the pavilion, the center point is not as noticeable, but rather the way the facet sparkles and the way it shines, it looks more like a broken ice type of look. So if you look at it, you know, the facets and all the sparkle, it kind of just shines everywhere, and there's a lot of craziness to it as opposed to the square. It's definitely a lot more chic, refined, and to the point. So if you want something slightly less sparkly, a little less shine to it, then definitely go with the square. If you want something that is really just going to pop and really shine, and that has more of an broken ice type of look and feel, then go with the princess cut. Again, both are square in shapes. However, the princess cut is faceted in a certain way. And just an FYI, if you don't know what a facet is every single surface area of a gemstone is called a facet. The princess cut, based on Charles and Colvard, that there are 58 facets for the princess cut. Whereas the square, they do not disclose the number of facets on the square, but 58 facets for the princess cut. So the stone on your right hand side is the square cut, and the stone on your left hand side is the princess cut. Both again has a square shape. However, it will refract and reflect light slightly different only because of the way it's faceted, okay? So the lighting environment that we're in right now is it's 10 a.m. in the morning in broad daylight and under a shade, okay? So I just want to kind of move it around for you, just so that you kind of see what it looks like, all right? And in a bit, I'll show it to you on how it looks like when direct sunlight hits it. And this will be exactly how it will look if you are to hold it on, or wear it rather, in sunlight. So it sparkles slightly differently, and I'll kind of move it around a bit for a few more seconds so you could have a better idea of what that looks like. So if you are debating between the two and have no clue which one is better for you, this should give you a better idea of what fits your personality, your taste, your style, and those different types of things.
Hey guys, I hope you guys like what you saw. Continue to leave comments. These things are really helping us out with what to do next. If there is a specific topic, a comparison, anything at all that has to do with jewelry, definitely leave the comments below. Subscribe to the channel because we might actually make one just for you, okay? And I do want to also thank you. From the time we started this channel a couple of months ago, it went from about 200 subs to now today we actually have 600 subs. So thank you from F&B, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.